Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Assassin, and we're back with some more content for you. I wanted to talk about something kind of important considering all the white knighting I've done for it.
Everything is
Marathon
breakable.
is having a bit of
So
a
let's break it.
negativity kind of bubble around it, and I don't think a lot of it is justified. I think a lot of it's actually really silly, and I want to talk about that. Before we go any further, though, we have to make this abundantly clear. I'm not being paid by Bungie, not by Sony. I'm not paid by anybody. These are just my unfiltered takes, and probably some of them you're not going to agree with, especially because, the entire sentiment around this seems to be fairly negative. There is people that are positive about it. There is people like myself that are extremely excited. And then there's others that downright think it's going to be another Concord, which is insane to even put into the, talks, like Concord. You really think Marathon's going to be Concord? That's insane to me. So why don't we start with what Marathon is going to be? It is a PvP VE extraction shooter. It's an extraction shooter. We've known this for a very long time. Marathon is gonna put you into a map. There's gonna be a total of 3 or 4 maps. You'll jump in, you're going to find loot, you're going to fight enemies that are going to be AI as well as real enemy players. You find the most valuable loot, you extract, you go to your base of operations, you upgrade your stuff there, you get better loot for your character, and then you do that process over and over again, getting richer and richer. And the story itself is going to be flushed out through objectives, and there's supposedly going to be raids and stuff along those lines. People that have actually played the game, unlike myself, will have more information than I do. I've personally been checking out tons of different channels who've had hands-on coverage with it, and I think seeing that gameplay really explains to you what Marathon is, and that really leads me into the next point, is that Marathon had this unfortunate reveal event that was good and also very terrible at the same time, because if you're watching this coming from the Destiny 2 background, or you're an extraction shooter type of guy, the answers that many of you are looking for are not going to be there. Let's talk about pricing. This is not a free-to-play game. You're not going to be jumping in here, being able to use your time as payment. You're going to have to pony up some dough, and I'm thinking that's going to be about $40. It's not going to be a typical $70 release, or if we're talking about like Nintendo being $80, $90, and maybe when that GTA 6 gets here, we'll be looking at $100, maybe $120. So either way, this is going to be a less premium pricing. It's going to be more tailored towards a cheaper thing, so that's good. This game is not going to include a single player mode. There's no campaign. You're not going to be going in solo, and that's a big thing, is that the game is predicated on a 3-person trio. It looks a lot like a love child between Destiny and Apex Legends. A lot of people were caught off guard by that, especially with them saying, well, you could go into the, battle zone with just a solo or a duo, but you're still going to face trios, which is probably the dumbest thing they could have said, because nobody wants to be at a disadvantage. Eventually, and I can almost guarantee you this, they're going to release a duo and a solo queue, because that's just the way this works. Multiple other games have done the same thing. No, we're not going to add in a solo mode or a duos mode or quads, whatever. They eventually do put in those modes because the community is going to complain about it. They're going to want it. Myself included, I do not want to jump in there solo and have to fight a bunch of trios. That sounds terrible. I mean, unless I was super good at the game, which odds are I'm not going to. I got my first experience with an extraction shooter in DMZ, and that was really fun. I had a lot of fun with that, along with Arena Breakout. I've never touched Tarkov because it looks so complicated, and it's interesting to me, but I feel like I'd have to put in a lot of time, and I don't really have anyone there to guide me. It's just, it's not something I'm really eager to jump into. It doesn't feel as welcoming and inviting. So with everything figured out about what Marathon is, the pricing structure, the way you're going to be jumping into lobbies and stuff like that, you're asking yourself, well, but it just didn't look that great. Well, yeah, dude, it's in an alpha state, man. It's not finished. It doesn't look that great. Given the engine that they're using, if I'm not mistaken, is the older Tiger engine from Destiny. Destiny 2 that's the same engine they're using. This game has been in development for a very long time. That is probably the reason it looks kind of dated. But I would assume, and I hope for everyone's sake, that the game is going to get more polish and it's going to be iterated on and worked on. They should not release it unless it's finished. And I think that was the biggest takeaway from the reveal event for myself, is that it does not look done. I was impressed with what I saw visually for the reveals. I mean, it's no joke that Bungie is able to craft a story, a universe at that, and it looks really good. They did a great job. The person that directed Love, Death, and Robots, I believe, is the person that did the reveal, intro cinematic trailer thing, the 8-minute thing. That was done by him. So, I mean, it's all spectacular work, but then then when you go and look at the gameplay, you're like, ooh, that doesn't look quite right. And then you have people that are expecting a single player experience. People were expecting something different from the game, and I don't really understand why, because we knew what this game was ages ago. If you just don't like extraction shooters or you don't understand what the genre is, I totally understand. I'm not a person who has extensive background with these games. I'm just going based upon what my knowledge is, and I can tell you that this is looking like a casual experience. Baby's first Tarkov, and that's fine. I think that's great. DMZ was extremely popular, but then they kind of went a different direction. I don't know if that's because Warzone or they were having issues, but they had a gem in their back pocket and they did not run with it. I think Bungie is looking at that and they're thinking, we could definitely do that and better. So this isn't going to cater to the majority until they jump in and figure it out. And the pricing there does make it a little steep. I think the open beta is going to really show how popular the game could be, because it's not going to cost money, I don't think. I think it'll be an open beta, and then eventually you're going to get a lot of people in there that otherwise wouldn't have paid the premium price tag, and they're going to actually really fall in love with the loot, especially if Bungie can add in all of those world building elements, the contracts, the dungeons, all these, higher level enemies. If they can pull this off, it's going to be extremely popular. If it's not something that I'm misremembering, the PC side of things is basically where all of the extraction shooters are at. The only extraction shooter that I know of that's on console is Call of Duty, I think. I could be wrong, but the genre is not popular on consoles. The majority of gamers, at least now, and eventually it's going to change, people are going to switch over to PC as PCs get more affordable, which is kind of funny because PCs are nowhere close to affordable yet, and they haven't been for quite a while, but eventually it's going to become more and more common that people are playing on your PCs here instead of a console. But for now, the console market is huge, and that has been an untapped resource, unless you're Call of Duty and then you abandon it, for the majority of the market for extraction shooters. That is going to be a great source of income, a large player base, and I think that's exactly what they're aiming for. They're not trying to take out Tarkov. They're not trying to go against Hunt Showdown. It's going to be very casual. They're aiming to please a different type of audience, a console audience. You're gonna have a controller. I like what they're doing. I see the vision, but I also do see that there's issues with it. It's Bungie. I played Destiny 2 for quite a while. I was not a fan of the lack of content that they were showing that game. PvP in that game is trash. I don't like it. I played it the other day. I uninstalled it after I made that video. It's so bad. Even people that don't like 343 or whatever they're called now, Bungie Studios, god damn it, Halo Studios, whatever, their name changed. The Halo Infinite multiplayer that I played the following day, 1,000 times better. And 343 is nowhere near the quality of Bungie, or at least that's what most people have stated and feel. And I would have to say that Bungie did not make a better multiplayer shooter than the Halo Infinite team. Yes, they, were building off of the backs of what Bungie made years and years ago, but for some reason, Destiny 2, it's just terrible. And on top of that, there is next to no content for the PvP side of things. Next to no content in general. I mean, they switch up raids. A lot of it is reused content over and over again. It's like the Destiny team was put on skeletons, The crew is basically just kind of keeping it along, keeping it limping. They would add stuff to the store. I don't care about the stuff in the store. I don't want to buy more stuff. It's a live service game. You're supposed to be adding more content, not just cosmetics and stuff for me to buy, but things to do, and it was disappointing. And then with the Bungie team having so many layoffs and people are feeling plenty of fatigue from Destiny 2, it's no surprise that a lot of people are like, do you really want to do another live service game? And that leads me into our next talking point here. It's going to be live service. People hate the word live service because that's associated with very, very negative connotations. Battle Pass burnout, cosmetics being pay to win, or getting an advantage. These things that I'm talking about are all negatives for the game because of the way they're presented and because people are tired of getting half-baked games, and what they were showing off felt half-baked. The way that these gaming companies are making money is through microtransactions. I don't agree with most of their policies and the way they're going about doing things. Their strategies about making money, they suck. Let's be honest. I don't enjoy them. I don't like them. I absolutely hated loot boxes, and then at some point they added loot boxes back to Overwatch, and people were excited because they were so tired of paying $40, $30, and they couldn't get a free skin. They couldn't work towards anything. They had Stockholm syndrome where they're like, oh, well, yeah, this is great. Thank you for giving this to me. Give me back back the old system because, funny enough, the new system that they put in, which on paper should be a lot better, was actually worse. I see how the community would look at this at a net negative situation. There could have been a slight change, and I have to agree with people. The premium price tag is a steep one, and if they're going to be pumping it full of microtransactions, having you buy a bunch of stuff, it's already kind of disappointing, but I feel like they're needing these, net proceeds to keep the studio afloat. They're not really doing all that well, all of these layoffs, and it's probably a do or die situation, and it seems like they're trying to push this thing out maybe a little bit too fast, which again is really funny because the game has been in development supposedly for about 6 years, and then a majority of this has been scrapped or iterated on because for 6 years the amount of development seems very lackluster. Maybe that 6 years was actually them building the, universe and the story crafting and stuff like that, but at least what we saw on the reveal was not 6 years worth of development, or at least it didn't look like that to an average person. So the truth of the matter is, if they would have just changed the pricing model or maybe released how much it would cost, maybe that would have made things more negative. I'm not for sure, but I'm almost positive the negative reception is definitely that premium price tag, especially with a live service game being pumped full of microtransactions, battle passes, and all this shit. It's going to be very disappointing to someone that just wants a fully complete game, and they've been burned one too many times, and it's just about enough for those, players. They don't really want to do it. They don't even want to give it a chance, and that's disappointing. So I totally blame Bungie and the way that they did the reveal and everything like that, because the live service model, when you just put it out there like that, and then you hype it up with all these words, it just kind of comes off the wrong way, and hopefully they can get things back on track and secure some of these players that were immediately turned off, and maybe they'll give it a chance when it's an open beta. And now, be it, there is a lot of good criticism that is coming from a place of genuine concern, like some of the things I've mentioned, but there is a distinct crowd forming around the negative, bubble, with people just kind of shitting on the game before they've even tried it, and I'm also hyping up the game before I've even tried it, so I'm also in a weird camp, and I disagree with some of my points and some of my overhyped analysis, but to say the game doesn't look good is kind of hilarious to me because it's in alpha. None of these things are finished. Someone was saying that this is like pre-alpha, and it's the way that they cut up some of this footage that I think is really making it look so bad. The way that they did the reveal with the content creators being up in the top corner, making the gameplay super small, having this border around it, it's just kind of tacky, and I would much prefer they just would have gotten rid of the face cam altogether, blow up the screen, put their name in the corner or something, and really show off a segment of the match, start from finish. I mean, they went with highlights just to make things more exciting. Someone like myself and others who were interested in the core loop of the game want to know how it starts from the beginning to the end. There's people that don't even understand what an extraction shooter is, and the way that they presented these things, it's making it more confusing. So because it's unfinished and the way that they're choosing to edit down these gameplay snippets, it's just a bad look. And then you have people questioning things like, well, why is that so blocky? Why does the engine look so bad? There's a lot of things up in the air as to how things are going to change and progress. They've said that they're going to iterate on everything that is being talked about. They're going to take the feedback and really hunker down, and it's going to be worked on all the way up until launch and then afterwards. But what does that really mean for what we're seeing now? I have no idea. That's up to Bungie to figure out. With all of this genuine criticism, and as well as the mountain of mute points and really ridiculous statements that people are making about all of the gameplay that they're seeing, it's kind of unreal. And again, it's not really on those people. They're just making an observation, which is totally fine. You should be able to criticize the game. You should be able to give your opinion and try to help make the game be as great as it can be. Nobody wants to have an unfinished game come out, especially not Bungie. They don't want to have a failure. They do not want to be associated with Concord, which is something that keeps coming up, is that, oh wow, this is going to be another Concord. Just on the Bungie name alone, even though Bungie's name has been tarnished, there's going to be a large majority of players that just pick this game up because it has the Bungie name. That's just how I see it happening. There's a lot of people that are very passionate about the studio, so just with the name recognition alone, they're going to sell units, which is not a good thing. You should definitely wait before you buy the game just based upon a name or a producer or a company, a director or whatever. You need to actually see that it's a good product, because if we continue to buy into these terrible products and just support things that are trash, you're going to get more trash, and I don't think anybody likes playing trash. I think what it comes down to is we really need to get hands-on with it. We need to have a better idea of what the gameplay loop is. We need to see more of it, and it needs to be more of a clear picture as to what the casual person can expect because they're confused. And even people with influence are confused about what the game is or what it was supposed to be, which is hilarious because they told you what it was going to be forever ago. There's been plenty of leaks. There's been articles written about the game and the core aspect of what it's going to be. If you're just disappointed because it's not Destiny 3, I don't know what to tell you, and neither do they, because this isn't Destiny 3. This is a PvP game focused around that, because that's what they're doing. The team that's on this for Marathon is made up of new people, as well as there's a large majority of people that worked on Gambit from Destiny that moved over there to work on Marathon, and you can definitely see that. So it's not going to be a PvE type of game. It's definitely catered towards a casual audience for the console side of things, or at least that's my opinion. When I look at it, I'm seeing they're trying to capitalize on this market that hasn't been yet tapped into fully, and I think they're going to do a smashing job at it. I hope. I don't know. I haven't played the game, and neither have they. So that's my generalized point to this entire video of me like rambling. The majority of the people that you are listening to and seeing comments and talk about this have no idea how the game plays. They're looking at what you saw and they're making an observation. You're totally allowed to have your opinions and criticisms, but you haven't even played it yet. So my advice to you would be to make up your own mind. Make sure you get yourself hands-on time with it in the alpha if you're able to, or the beta. I'm sure that they're going to have an open beta. They need as many people as they can to buy into the game. They need to get people hyped up for it. They need to have a very big install base to make this successful, and they're going to need a home run for this, just with the state of the studio and everything around it. They want it to be a success, so they want you to have hands-on, and once you've gotten your hands on it and you don't like it, that's great. Make sure you tell the world. I'll make sure I tell the world as well, because I'm not going to be just sitting here trying to white knight for this game. I know that's why this video is going to come off as me trying to, you know, be super positive about the game, try to deflect criticism. No, I want you to criticize the game, but I think what people are criticizing the game for is entirely silly, and I recommend that you seek out multiple different, you know, points of interest in. There's tons of dialogues that are happening, but the biggest ones that I'm seeing are very silly. It just makes no sense to me. Yeah. So that's my little rant here for today. I just want to start like a new dialogue. If you guys have any thoughts or feedback for Marathon, let me know in the comments down below, or just even about Bungie itself as a studio. I'd be interested to hear your points and views. The majority of what people are saying is absolutely ridiculous, and I would like to hear real problems with the game instead of just people being upset because it wasn't what they wanted. Hopefully in the next video I won't have to just sit here and rant and be rambling and yapping. I yapped too much in this video. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you in the next video.